NicholasBieber. I am the Greens candidate for Hawthorn. When I look out at you tonight, I see many older folk who are about my parents' age, and they're probably grandparents. I see a number of people in my age group who might well be parents, and I see many young adults who might well want to start families. I see my community. Why do I care about climate change? It is because, like you, I care about my community, and we have a rapidly emerging climate crisis which is increasing the health risk for the aged and young. They are the most vulnerable people in our community, and we need to care about them and act on their behalf. Don't take my word for it. The Australian Department of Energy and Environment say that Australia's greatest health threats from climate change are expected to come from extreme weather events such as heat waves and rising temperatures. They say heat waves have caused more loss of life than any other natural hazard in Australia over the last 100 years. They say the duration, frequency and intensity of extreme heat events have increased across large parts of Australia. Temperatures are projected to continue increasing with more extremely hot days and fewer extremely cool days. They say the most at risk during heat waves include the elderly, children, outdoor workers, Indigenous Australians, and those already suffering from chronic disease. They presented as a case study the January 2014 Victorian heat wave. The results were startling. That heat wave resulted in 167 more deaths than normally expected at that time of year in Victoria, saw a 25% increase in Ambulance Victoria's emergency caseload in the metropolitan area, had a 5-fold increase in heat-related presentations to public hospital emergency departments, and saw a 3-fold increase in heat-related calls to the nurse on-call services. Now, when I say that I care for the community, that's not just a buzzword. That's my bread and butter as a social worker. I go out into the homes of people in Hawthorn and the inner east of Melbourne, and they let me into their lives. Before coming to Hawthorn and living around Japan for 6 years, I grew up in Victoria's Western District. Now, around Colac in the Lakes District, people are watching the lakes shrink away to nothing. If I look further north and over the Murray, I see communities that are dealing with bushfires in winter and trying to farm in ever-worsening drought conditions. Climate change is destroying once strong rural communities, family businesses, and our food security. Farmers are literally killing themselves, and the government is trying to fix it with money. You can't buy rain. At the same time, our country has At the same time, our country has withdrawn from the United Nations Green Fund. They only wanted $200 million. We are deaf, dumb and blind to the call of island nations as they disappear under the sea. We continue to sit through news of African countries facing famine without end. We are sealing their fate with a mess that we have made. We are erasing their future with a coal that we keep mining, selling and burning. Or we shift away from coal. I believe, and the Greens know, that we can have this state running on 100% renewable energy by 2030. With fortitude, we can do it faster. We can have publicly owned electricity production and distribution. We can ease the pain of power bills. Everyone here knows that we have the technology to do that. Kiwi company PowerShop, half owned by their governments, is selling me my sunlight and taking my money overseas. Korean company Sun Metals is up in Queensland and they've set up a 125 megawatt solar farm so they can smelt zinc and start providing electricity for other industrial consumers. Foreign companies are using off-the-shelf technology, providing permanent jobs and siphoning away the profits. That should be us. There is an economy that could develop out of harvesting the sun's energy for next to nothing. It would provide permanent jobs and generate wealth for the country to keep and invest. Let's not miss this window of opportunity. We act now or we don't. We look out for other countries, other communities and our own economy, or we don't. We look out for our own community, our own health and our own children's future, or we don't. If we don't, what do we tell the other countries? What do we tell our vulnerable? Our children, either today or in 20 years' time. What do we tell them? I'm standing with the Greens because we need a better future for all of us.